Hi everybody, it's Chris and welcome back to another video. I thought today I'd share with you the records from my collection that, according to Discogs, are the most expensive records I own. They're not the rarest, but they are the most expensive ones that I own. So I just recently completed uploading my collection, at least my album collection, to Discogs, and it has that kind of nifty thing of giving you the lowest price, the medium price and the high price. And it's quite interesting to see which of your albums actually are worth the most. And some of them weren't surprising, but some were. And so I'm going to share with you my top 10 most expensive records from my collection according to Discogs and the median price at Discogs. So coming at number 10 was quite a surprise to me actually. It's Coverdale Page. This is the album collaboration from '93 between David Coverdale, obviously of Deep Purple, Whitesnake fame, and Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. It's okay as an album. I think David Coverdale's voice, he sounds like he's gargled shattered windscreens prior to recording it, if I'm honest. It's not the greatest vocal, but it's an interesting enough album. But according to Discogs, the lowest price that this version was sold for, and this is the first press of it, was £52. The top price was £190 and the median price is £104. You know, I think this album cost me about £3.50. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Okay, next one up, and this wasn't a surprise that it was in the top 10. It's a first press of Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division. So although the cover is a little bit beaten, I guess you must factor that into the price. But this particular album, its lowest price is 40. Well, I think I paid less than a tenner for this, if I'm honest. 110 is its medium, £237 as its top price. I mean, who's spending this kind of money? I mean, it must be bonkers. The next one up, this is in 8th place, and this was a surprise that this was in my top 10. I didn't expect this at all. The highest price this ever went for was £236. Its median is 112. I know I got this for 12 quid. And it's the debut album, it's the first press of it, it's the debut album from Budgie. You know, this is a tidy album, it's a really, really good debut, some great stuff on here, typical kind of Budgie kind of song titles, Nude Disintegrating Parachutist Woman, that kind of stuff. And it's a really good debut, a really solid debut from a great band, Welsh band. But is it worth £112? No, it's really, really not. Next up, and I did expect an album that a couple of albums actually I've got by this band to be in the top 10. This is the only album in the top 10 of mine by the Beatles. Now this is often seen, I think, as their best album. I very, very, very rarely play any Beatles. I prefer early Beatles actually, if I'm honest, to this era and beyond. But this album here, I don't know what version it is. It's not a first press, I don't think, but it's medium price is £120. Lowest price it went for is 12, and again I certainly got that for under a tenner. I mean, who is paying £120 for a copy of Revolver? The next one up was really surprising. I wouldn't have ever expected this to be in the top 10 or even in the top 100 of the albums. I've got about 2,500 albums. So this comes in at the top price is £220, I think. And the bottom price is 40 odd, but the median price for it is 120. This is Extrapolation from John McLaughlin, a bit of kind of psychedelic kind of jazz fusion sort of stuff. I mean, a really interesting album. I love John McLaughlin stuff, although sometimes it's a bit excessive. This is on Marmalade Records. I don't know if you know, that is the reason why it's rarer than maybe other versions of it. But £120? No one pays £120 for John McLaughlin's Extrapolation, do they? Well, maybe they do. I don't know. Next one up, and I really expected this band to be in the top 10 for sure. This isn't a first press. I wish it was. It would be number 1 if it was a first press. I think it's something like the 6th or 7th version of it, and it's the debut from Led Zeppelin. You know, well known to everybody. Quite a derivative of, you know, kind of blues covers, that kind of stuff. But you know, classic album. It's on that, obviously, on the Orange and Plum label. I think it's the 6th or 7th version of it. And this particular album Lowest price £8. Well, I certainly paid single figures for that. Mind you, it was a while ago I bought it. And the mid price is £149. £149. The top price is £260. £260 someone was willing to pay for a sixth or seventh version of a debut album. Amazing. So we're into the top 4 now. I expected this to be in it, actually. I really did expect this to be in it. It's this album, so I have to take that down pretty quickly. Electric Ladyland. Now, this isn't a first press. This is the next one that follows because of the colour of the writing on it or something. So, you know, Discogs is very good at highlighting which copy you have. Sometimes that takes forever to work out, doesn't it? But this particular album here, Electric Ladyland, this is £172 as a medium price. £172. That's just unbelievable. I'm just trying to see if because sometimes where there's a sticker on the record when you bought it, sometimes you can see from the indentation on the album how much I paid for it. I think I paid for about 10 quid. Again, it was quite a long time ago I bought this. But the bottom price is £40 for that particular album. So that's in 4th place. In 3rd place, again, I kind of expected, you know, this possibly to be in. So this is the debut album from Deep Purple, Shades of Deep Purple. This is the album that has their version of Hush, Joe South's song. You know, it's a Mandrake Root is on here, but you know, there's quite a few covers. Hey Joe is on here, Help is on here. So, you know, it's a good album. Their debut, it's Parlophone Records, but it is £179 as a medium. £179. Its top price was £515. £515. Who paid that? You know, names. Who paid that? Absolutely scandalous. The next one up is an album that I do remember buying and then selling and then buying off a friend. Because I regretted, almost immediately I sold it. I sold it for a lot of money and I immediately regretted it. And I went to a concert and I bought this album at the concert, and so did my friend. And we got it signed by the band. And it was a great album to have, but I knew it was worth a bit of money and I sold it for quite a lot of money. And then a few years later, I kind of regretted that, and I found out that my friend Paul, had also got this album, and so I bought it off him, and so I've got it back into my collection. It's the White Album by Diamond Head. So this was £3.50. £3.50 sold at gigs, and I bought this in 1980 or 81, one of the two, when they were a support band for April Wine at Southampton Gaumont. April Wine were dreadful. Diamond Head was superb. We left April Wine early. We went up to the merch stand and I bought the album there. And the people behind the merch stand were Diamond Head, and so they signed our album. And then they left some roadies to carry on with the merch stand, and we went next door and I bought them a pint. And they were a great group of fellas, and this is one of my prized possessions. So the debut album from New Wave of British heavy metal band Diamond Head, fully signed, fantastic stuff. And that mid price is £195. £195 as a mid price. The bottom price is 57, but this is the album that has the most money has been spent on it, and the top price ever for the White Album signed is £963. £963. That's just unbelievable. 963. I still can't get over that. I can get over that quicker than I can get over my number one. So my number one is an album that is, as a bottom price, £185. The lowest price ever sold on Discogs, £185. The top price, £335. The median is £231. This album, I think, will probably surprise you. It's Bananas by Deep Purple. Now, if I'm honest, I bought this, you know, I'm a Deep Purple collector. I bought the CD and the album the day it was released. I've only ever played the CD. I've never played the album, so it is actually a mint copy of it. And so it will command a decent price because it is unplayed. But it really isn't very good. You know, it's got the worst cover, I think, of any Deep Purple album, probably. It isn't very good, the stuff on it. I saw, this is from 2003, I saw them on this particular tour. But that's my #1 most expensive record, according to Discogs, which I find absolutely amazing. I haven't done my 45s, with exception of one. And the reason for that is because I remember buying it, and when I got it home, I couldn't play it because it's set at 78. It's a promo copy, and there's only 50 made, and I've got one of them, and I bought it by accident. So I bought it on green vinyl, and I played it, and I put it on my bed, and I was playing other 45s. This was when I was a teenager, and I sat on the bed, and I sat on this single, and I cracked it. And I went back to the shop, and they didn't have another green vinyl copy. In fact, they didn't have any copies, black vinyl or green vinyl. So probably about a year later, maybe a little bit more afterwards, I was rummaging through a record shop, and I found a copy of it. It wasn't on green vinyl, it was on black vinyl, and the single is Nasty Nasty by 999. So I took it home, and I thought, oh yeah, okay, that's good, I'm glad I put it back into my collection. And I put it on the turntable, and it wouldn't play. It sounded dreadful, and the reason for that is because it's a promo that's at 78 RPM. Now, there are only 50 of these made. There is one on sale on Discogs at the moment. If you really want a copy, that's £750. The median price for this is £500. That is utterly ridiculous. However, I'm glad I've got it. So anyway, there's my 10 most expensive records according to Discogs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be back sometime soon with another video. Cheers.